Finally guys, we got some real boxing news. I got tired of talking about Ryan Garcia's pee test, but I believe that is the most famous pee in the whole world. It was all over the boxing world and everybody was talking about it, and they didn't just make one video, they made several. I was just waiting for R. Kelly to come out with his thoughts. I hope we stop talking about that. I get pretty uncomfortable. But the brand new news is that Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora are gonna be fighting in Texas. It's gonna take place at the Cowboy Stadium in October. I really thought Ryan Garcia and Errol Spence were gonna fight, but I think Ryan Garcia still has to handle his peace situation. But I would have rather fought Ryan Garcia because he's trying to take your girl. And he was talking mad-ish. And Sebastian Fundora, I believe, is a harder task than Ryan Garcia, especially Ryan Garcia going up in weight. And Ryan Garcia looked a little bit chubby at 143. I can just imagine him at 147. Because he was at 143 and he needs to put on 4 more pounds. Will he get them in fat or in muscle? Muscle, he will be a lot slower, but in fat, he'll have more energy. Because he was pretty slow and lethargic against Devin Haney, and he still beat the ASS out of Devin Haney. If Devin Haney somehow gets that loss erased, no one's gonna forget about that ass beating. Unless he gets that device like in Men in Black where everybody erases their memory. Sorry guys, I digress. But the fight between Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora, it is going to be for one of the titles. Now, I have Errol Spence beating Fundora, but it's not a guaranteed win. I personally would not bet on these fights because the last time I bet was Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, and I lost the bet. So I got really upset when Errol Spence stated that he was not living a boxer's lifestyle. I just would never bet in boxing anymore because there is a lot of robberies, and if I know there's a robbery, the person that I betted on will still want me to pay. If it's pre-Terrence Crawford, I have Errol Spence beating Fundora. And I also know styles make fights, but when Fundora fought Tim Tszyu, I had Tim Tszyu winning before the back cut happened. It was only after that cut that Tim Tszyu could not see any of Fundora's punches. But Fundora is no easy task, and I would suggest for Errol Spence to take a lighter touch, but big props to him. I'm still an Errol Spence fan, I always have been. I was just upset that I lost that money. It was the biggest bet I had ever made in my life in boxing. It was $1,000. But I believe Errol Spence has a lot to prove in this fight. He does have a lot of weight to lose, and there's still plenty of time for him to do it. Now this fight, we're all going to see where Errol Spence stands, if he was really weight drained or if he is finished. We all know Derek James and Errol Spence split because of some money issues. But the rumors are that he is trying to get his trainer with Jermell Charlo's trainer, Juan Guzman. So we don't exactly know how Errol Spence is gonna fight or if that's even gonna change his style. And of course it's gonna change his style, but that could be for the better or for worse. Now if he does beat Fundora, Terrence Crawford has a fight against Madrigal for one of the other titles. Now they could fight at 154 for unification. Now I still have Terrence Crawford beating Errol Spence no matter what weight class they fight. Terrence Crawford is just a special fighter. To me, he is ranked number 3 of the best fighters in the world. First is Usyk, then Naoya Inoue, and Terrence Crawford is next. But that's only because Terrence Crawford has been on the shelf for a while. I don't really see anybody beating Terrence Crawford. Maybe Boots Ennis, but that's a real 50-50 fight. But Boots Ennis is yet to be proven as he has to fight Crowley first, and let's see how he looks against Crowley first. Because he has been looking like he has a special talent against lesser opponents, but let's see against a undefeated fighter. But right now he has a tall task, literally, against the towering inferno Sebastian Fundora. And this is not a guaranteed win because when Fundora was fighting Tim Tszyu, he finally used his tallness and his reach to his advantage, as we all know Fundora fights on the inside like a shorter fighter. So if Fundora fights like that, Errol Spence is in there for a long night. Errol Spence is coming off a lot of injuries and a terrible loss against Terrence Crawford, but there is no shame to losing to Terrence Crawford. If Errol Spence was really weight drained against Terrence Crawford in the first fight, I will expect a better matchup on the second fight, but I still have Terrence Crawford winning. I cannot wait for this fight, Errol Spence versus Sebastian Fundora. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video. That's it for me, champs. I gotta roll.